If you were alive in the early 90s and had a pulse, chances are you were utterly mesmerized by the Jaguar XJ220. It was an unhinged brute of a car with a shape that looked like it had been sculpted by the gods of speed themselves. It was long, low, impossibly wide, and crucially the fastest car in the world for a brief, glorious moment. But apparently, to at least one member of Brunei's royal family, this wasn't good enough, because when you're Prince Jefri of Brunei, a man whose car collection made the Sultan of Monaco look like a casual weekend enthusiast, owning just any old XJ220 wasn't going to cut it. No, this needed to be something special, something more refined, something that could take Jaguar's already outrageous supercar and elevate it into an entirely different stratosphere of automotive indulgence. And so, with more money than most small countries and a seemingly unshakable belief that good things can always be made better, Prince Jefri did what any self-respecting billionaire would do. He called up Pininfarina. Now Pininfarina doesn't just design cars, they craft rolling masterpieces. They gave us the Ferrari 250 GT Lusso, the 288 GTO and the Alfa Romeo Spider. They are the sort of company that could take a shoebox, slap a few elegant curves on it and turn it into a design icon. So when the prince came knocking, asking them to reinvent the XJ220, they obliged with an almighty stroke of Italian genius. The result, a one-off reimagining of Jaguar's supercar, dubbed the XJ220 Pininfarina Speciale, and this is quite possibly the most exclusive Jaguar ever built. Now, to understand why the prince felt the need to commission this car, you have to go back to the XJ220's origins. In 1988, Jaguar, in a haze of optimism and engineering bravado, unveiled a prototype supercar at the British International Motor Show. It had a naturally aspirated 6.2-litre V12, scissor doors and all-wheel drive, a combination that sent wealthy enthusiasts into a frenzied rush to get their names on the order list. But by the time the production model arrived in 1992, reality had sunk in. The glorious V12 was gone, replaced by a twin-turbo V6 that, while still impressively powerful, lacked the sheer theatre of a 12-cylinder Howell. The all-wheel drive system had also been chucked in favour of a lighter, more conventional rear-wheel drive setup. Customers who had put down deposits for the V12-powered Le Mans Refugee were now getting something, well, different. But this didn't mean it was bad. You see, despite the controversy, the XJ220 wasn't just fast, it was record-breaking. In 1991, a prototype lapped the Nürburgring faster than any road car before it, and in 1992, it became the fastest production car in the world, hitting a staggering 217.1 miles per hour. That record would later be unceremoniously stolen by the McLaren F1, but for a moment, Jaguar had built the undisputed king of speed. Naturally, this meant that the Sultan of Brunei and his brother bought not one, not two, but 20 of them. Because why have one world record-breaking supercar when you can own enough to form a small racing series in your backyard? But here's the thing, owning 20 identical cars is a bit dull when you're a billionaire, and for Prince Jefri, the XJ220 just wasn't quite perfect. He thought it was too long, too difficult to see out of, and frankly not quite stylish enough. And that's where Pininfarina enters the picture. So in 1994, the Italians got their hands on an XJ220, stripped away its original bodywork, and set about improving on what was already a masterpiece. First on the list was the length. Pininfarina's designers felt that Jaguar had gotten a little carried away with the car's dimensions, so they shortened the rear end by several inches. Then came the aero work. The original car had a subtle integrated spoiler, but that wasn't dramatic enough. Pininfarina designed an elegant twin-blade rear wing, with the lower section doubling as a full-width taillight cluster, a signature move that made the back of the car look like something straight out of a sci-fi film. But the real transformation happened with the glasswork. If you have ever sat in an XJ220, which let's be honest, most of us haven't, you'll know that visibility is about as good as wearing a welding mask at night. The rear glass engine cover was replaced with a larger curved window to improve rearward vision, and the side windows were given a major overhaul. On the original car, they were tiny slivers of glass that barely allowed the driver to give a proper disapproving glance at lesser mortals in their Ferraris. Pininfarina, in their infinite wisdom, made them much bigger and split them into two sections, a dramatic curved upper half and a flatter, retractable lower half. The front end, though still recognizable as an XJ220, was extensively reworked. The pop-up headlights, which had a tendency to look a bit sleepy, were binned in favor of fixed lights with 4 individual bulbs. A pair of enormous semi-elliptical vents were added to the hood, giving the car a more aggressive, menacing stance. And in true Pininfarina fashion, every curve, vent and line was meticulously shaped to enhance both aerodynamics and aesthetic appeal. Inside, the transformation was just as dramatic. Prince Jefri wasn't a fan of the XJ220's rather Spartan cabin, so Pininfarina gave it a full Italian luxury treatment. The dashboard, center console and seats were completely redesigned, covered in a lavish mix of green and black leather with Alcantara accents. The traditional manual gearbox was also ditched in favor of a Williams-developed semi-automatic transmission, complete with paddle shifters, which was a cutting-edge innovation at the time. Mechanically, the XJ220 Pininfarina Speciale retained its original 3.5-litre twin-turbocharged V6, still producing a mighty 542 horsepower. However, cooling was improved, and the new transmission made it an even more sophisticated machine. Crucially, it also gained power steering, something that the standard XJ220 lacked, making it notoriously heavy at low speeds. But despite being one of the most exclusive Jaguars ever built, the Speciale was never shown off to the public. No auto shows, no press conferences, no dramatic unveilings. It was quietly shipped back to Brunei, where it likely spent its life in an air-cooled garage alongside the Prince's other one-off automotive commissions. And that's part of the reason why I don't have a lot of photos or footage of this car. So I'm sorry if it's just 3 pictures that are running in a slideshow. I'm doing the best with what I have. This is a really rare car that is really secretive. Anyways, let's get back to the video. By 1997, however, the fortunes of Brunei's royal family were beginning to unravel. A financial crisis, declining oil prices, and a series of legal disputes meant that much of the prince's vast car collection was either sold off or abandoned. Some of the family's prized exotics were left to rot in warehouses and parking lots, while others disappeared into private collections around the world. As for the XJ220 Pininfarina Speciale, its whereabouts remain a mystery. Given its rarity and significance, it was likely spared the fate of lesser cars in the collection, but whether it still resides in the possession of the Bruneis or if it was sold to an unknown collector remains one of the great unanswered questions in the world of supercars. But at the end of this video, please let me know what you guys thought of the video and what do you guys think of this car. Do you think it looks better than the original, or do you think this is an unnecessary spend of money? I think this thing looks great, don't get me wrong. I just wish it was used more. Like, if you spend this amount of money on a car, take it to car shows, take it for coffee, take your wife or girlfriend out, just use the bloody thing. That's the whole point of a car. But yeah, that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down below, and if you guys enjoyed this video, please have a like and subscribe to the channel, and if you did like it, you'll most like most of my other stuff. So just go through my channel, see if there's someone's like. I'll check you guys in the next one. Cheers, hey.